n'entendons pas.
Well, welcome everybody. Bienvenue. It's so great to see you. Oh, there's Jen. All these people that I'm figuring out what they look like. So cool. Anyway, so that there's no real structure to this. We just thought we would allow people to ask questions, and I don't know, give me a thumbs up if you are brand new to Manie. Who's give me a thumbs up if you're new. Okay, so quite a few of you are new, brand new. Okay, so you might be very confused. Give me a thumbs up if you've done Manie for at least 1 year. So probably everybody else, right? But yeah, okay. So we have some veterans here. Hi, Christine. Just saw you yesterday. It was so cool, or the day before yesterday. Okay, so there we go. Would you like a senator? Okay, I shouldn't say that. Anyway, so if you want to just, I'm just going to open it up for questions, and I mean, I can give kind of an overview if you want me to do that first. Although I think, you know, maybe people have already looked at the website, so maybe you already, okay, overview, please. Yeah, type in the chat. That's probably the easiest way. Yay, oh, Texas, I hope you have power. Okay, so basically, Manie Musicale is, if you follow, oh, hi, Natalie. Okay. All right. So Natalie, I'm going to give you an assignment because Stephanie's not here yet. So Natalie, I'm giving you a job. Can you keep track of the questions? And if I miss one, can you tell me?
Yeah.
Okay, merci Natalie.
Pas de problème.
So basically, if you follow March Madness basketball, and I know some people might not, I love March Madness basketball, but it's basically the college basketball tournament. People try to predict the winner out of 64 teams who make the tournament. And so basically what we've done with Manie Musicale is we've taken that and turned it into a French-related song activity. And it does pull in the sports kids sometimes, which is good. And so obviously 64 songs would be a little much, although I thought about trying to do Manie Musicale for the whole year this year because it's such a crazy year. That would have been fun with 64 teams, but I was like, I guess I should do a little curriculum. But anyway, so we do the Sweet 16. So the 16 songs are based on the Sweet 16 from basketball, just kind of parallel it. And so Stephanie and I, along with a lot of help from some of you and from our students, we, over the course of the previous year, we pick out songs like when we notice somebody's posted a really good song or one of our favorite artists comes out, we make a note of it and say, oh, this might be a good one for Manie Musicale. So we try to pick 16 songs that came out in the past year or so. Sometimes they're a couple years old, but they tend to be contemporary. So yeah, most of them are 2020. Actually, the oldest one this year is the Stéphane Lagarde. It actually came out before Comme Si Comme Ça, which was the winner last year. But I think it might be 2018 or 2019. That's the only one that's kind of old. And we picked that one because he won last year and we wanted to see if he could retain his title. And it fit with our theme. We were trying to do this year kind of a theme of positivity and gratitude and getting through tough times for no real reason. Nothing in the past years. So we pick those 16 songs and then we create the bracket, which is similar to the basketball bracket. So a lot of people will bet on the basketball brackets and try to guess who wins, and people get really into it. And so the students fill out their bracket before voting starts. Okay, so sometimes people get confused. What's the difference between the voting and the bracket? And sometimes people think it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. So the bracket is their predictions of who will win. Okay, and you have to do that before voting starts, because otherwise, if you know, if on the second day of voting, I see that on day one, Tahiti beat Arbre, then I could just fill it in and go, hey, I think that one's going to win. Wink, wink, nod. Not so they can cheat. Can you take care of the dog, please? And so they have to fill out the entire thing, not just day one, the entire thing before they start. And there's a little tutorial video that Stephanie made a couple of years ago that's on the website that tells you how to fill out the bracket. So you can definitely you know, watch that, or just ask one of your kids who's into basketball, like they can explain it to you as well. So you fill out the whole thing. So basically 2 songs will compete. So like for vote 1, Tahiti will compete against Arbre. And then the vote number 2, we go over to the other side. So it's like the East and the West in the basketball. And then Unité competes against Merci à la vie. And so then eventually you'll have like the song from day 1 will go against the song from day 3. And you decide which one of those 2 advances. And that goes on to day 9. And then you complete that until you have somebody in the middle for the championship. Okay, so you're basically eliminating, so songs get eliminated if they don't go on to the next round, if they don't get enough votes. So then on March, so everybody needs to, all your students need to fill this out before March 3rd, because March 3rd is when the voting starts. So they complete their entire bracket. And sometimes students will say, well, do I pick the one I like the best or the one I think will win? And really you can do it either way, okay? So like this year, for the left-hand side of my bracket, I picked the ones that I thought were gonna win. And for the right side of my bracket, I picked the ones I liked the best. Why? I don't know, felt like it. Okay, so you can do it however you want to. Some teachers, don't even have students look at the videos first because they want to know just if they like the song without looking at the video, and then they might show the video on voting day. They might show the 2 videos for the songs that are competing that day. But it's really, I mean, one of the great things about Manie is that you can do it any way that you want to. Like you can spend a ton of time on it, or you can spend just a little time on it. So then on March 3rd, what happens is the students have all completed their brackets, and we can talk about how to collect the brackets and stuff like that if people want to ask about that. But they submit the brackets to you, not to us. Okay, so there's no like national submit your bracket thing. Each teacher keeps track of his or her own students. And then on March 3rd, we have vote number 1. So the students would go to our website and they would click on vote 1. There's a little button that says vote 1. And they will, it'll basically just say, votez pour votre chanson préférée, Tahiti par Kinvey, Arbre par Ame Laoni. And they just click the button and they hit submit and boom, they're done. And that gets tallied. And whichever song at the end of the voting, oh, people are, yeah, there we go. So when the end of voting for day 1, when voting closes, so it's a Google form. So I open at 7:30 a.m. on voting day, Eastern Standard Time, and then it closes at 9 p.m. on the last, most votes go over 2 days, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So they have 2 days to vote for most of the songs, except for the championship, which is 1 day only. And so whichever song has the most votes at the end of the day goes on to the next round until you have a champion. Question. Oui, Christine.
Difference between challenge and the website bracket voting?
So challenge has nothing to do with like the national vote or anything. That's not a vote. That's for the keeping track of predictions. If,
Okay.
like me, you don't like to do math, okay? So I'm a language teacher for a reason, although I'm good at balancing the checkbook, but beyond that. So the challenge, you don't have to use challenge. It's just how I like to keep track of the voting, because that way I don't have to do math. But you can keep track of it other ways. Some people use their own Google form to create a voting thing. You can do it the old-fashioned way. Like I think the first year I did it, I photocopied the bracket, gave it to them, and then I collected them, photocopied all of the students' brackets so that I made sure they didn't change their answers and cheat. And I passed back their original so that they could remember what they voted for. So like, it doesn't have to be a high tech. So it's however you want to run it. And then the teacher keeps track of, the brackets for their own students and how many points. And typically what you do is you assign more points. And if you do challenge, that tallies it automatically for you, but you have more points for each round. So right on the bracket, like the premier tour, like the first 8 days, each victory is worth 1 point, but then the deuxième tour, so the ones that are in blue on the bracket, if you have a color one, days 9, 10, 11, and 12, those are worth 3 points per victory. And then the championship is, more points and so forth. Okay, so Nathalie, prochaine question.
Hold on, there's a lot of questions.
Okay. And other
I feel like maybe we should talk more a little bit about what happens before they submit their bracket. Maybe there's some questions about that. I know I have one. So you don't give them any guidance. You just send them to the videos and they kind of watch them on their own for some time that you've given them. And then they, like, you don't tell them what the videos is about or what it means or whatever. They just do their own thing.
Yeah, so it's how much time you have and how much time you want to spend on it. So for example, last year, before we went into lockdown, I was really doing a lot of in-depth with my songs. So like way before the voting started, I picked like 2 songs a day, and we would listen to the vote for day 1. So like this year I would, if I had time with my students, which I don't this year really because of the way our schedule works in this crazy year. But what I did last year was I would take Tahiti and Arbre, and we would watch the videos. We would analyze the lyrics. Sometimes I'd have them look at the lyrics before they watched the video. I taught them the chorus. So we sang the chorus of each song, which was really good for middle school because they learn the words and they really get into it, and it's repetitive and helps their pronunciation and all those wonderful things. And then they could either fill out the bracket right then for that particular vote if they wanted to, or they could do that later if they couldn't decide. And so you can do it that way. I've also in the past done it as a sub-plan. So for example, in Maine, we typically have our World Language Teacher Conference right around the beginning of Manie Musicale. And so that was, for the past few years, that's been my sub-plan. When I go to the conference, they watch the videos or part of the videos or the mashup, which is a little bit of each song. They watch that on the day that I'm out, and then they fill out their brackets. So that's a really easy, and there is a sub-plan sample. It's written up in the resource folder. So there is a sub-plan there already written up for you if you want to use that as a template. So if you could use that, like for us, we have, we're all remote on Wednesdays, and asynchronous. So you could give that as their Wednesday work. And that's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to have them, spend a little time watching. I showed the mashup in class, and then I'm going to have them do a little bit of, give mon appréciation for each song, like give it so many stars or whatever. And then go from there. Oh yeah, and somebody I see just mentioned the slide presentation. So that's how I typically will go through it. So there's a slide presentation that has the songs and videos. And it's a really easy, which is to give them a little bit of like where the singer's from, a little bit about them. It's written in very simple language. And then they watch the video, and the other obvious thing that we want to do is get them talking about the songs. And so like teaching them the vocabulary, like j'aime le rythme, j'aime la mélodie, j'aime les paroles, or, you know, la chanson est entraînante. And there are all kinds of materials that have been created around that, like Quizlets and things like that.
Yep.
That
There were
is-
questions about voting. Do they vote twice a week?
So
But someone answered that. They vote every other day, 2 days to vote on each couple of songs.
except for the
And
championship.
there's a voting schedule.
Yep. Yeah. And so, you know, they just go to our website and they click on the link and they vote. And you know, and some of the voting, the way that we figured out the days and so forth, it goes, there's one vote that's Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday. And I know people don't go to school on Saturday because we're not in France or some places where they sometimes have school on Saturday. But we try to time it so that it's not like dragged out for 2 months. But you know, if they have an internet connection at home, if they forget, like if you don't see them on a Friday, like some of my kids this year, I don't see on Friday. So I would send them a thing on Google Classroom and say, don't forget to vote. And then I might send them a thing on Saturday and say, hey, don't forget to vote on Saturday. But you know, and if you're on vacation, sometimes people ask about that. If you're on vacation, you know, they can vote while they're on vacation. Like anybody can vote, like anybody can go to the website. I also invite parents to play along if they want to, like fill out a bracket. I said it in the our weekend preview, like just so they can talk to their kids about what they're learning. So yeah, it ultimately doesn't matter if they vote or not. We're hoping to get lots of vote. I mean, it's fun if they vote. They have more ownership of it, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's not, there's no like tracking of the votes. So like, please don't ask us, how can I tell if my kids voted? Like, it's a long Google form. I can't really look it up. So you just have to, you know, try to get them excited. And if they're excited, they'll vote. It's one vote per email address. So it does collect their email address only.
So no spamming.
Yeah. So that they can't like vote 3 times or 12 times or 100 times or whatever.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So this is my first time participating, and so I'm kind of just winging it, but with my students, we're partially synchronous, partially asynchronous, and I've shared the link for the slides. So we go through it during the day, but then on the days that I don't have them, they're to listen to the 2 songs of the day on their own. And then, but I've just been filling out the bracket, like they just email me their choices, and I've been filling out the one bracket because I didn't know how else to do it.
So they're not doing it individually. You're just doing like
they're doing it. They're listening to it on their own, and then they're emailing me their choice. So I have like a bracket of my class, what their favorite is. Like I've just been tallying it up. I didn't know if that's, and then I guess I go to one of these one of these websites when the bracket is all filled out, and then I just fill in what their choices are.
So yeah, I mean, if you're not going to fill out their choices for us, that you would keep track of that for ideally they would. What grade do you teach?
It's high school, but I just didn't know how to do it in this environment.
Yeah, so what I would do is one of 2 things. I would have them fill out either a paper bracket, or they can, like, you can take the online bracket and make a copy of it or make a Google form or something like that. That's a lot of work for you to keep track of all your students' brackets. You shouldn't do that. Let them do it. I mean, but you might want to have some accountability so they don't change it later, like have them take a picture of it or something when they've completed the whole bracket. And then they would vote for their favorite song. And a common question that comes up too is that sometimes people say, well, why are they doing it twice? Because they're filling out the bracket, but then they're voting. Like, what's the point of that? But it very often, hi, Stephanie. But very often their choices, because the songs are eliminated, the choices change, right? So like I picked Tahiti to win the first matchup. But if it doesn't, like if Arbre wins, which I doubt, but although I love the song, if Arbre wins, then this whole part of my bracket is dead. And so like on day 9, when I had picked Tahiti to advance, now I got to decide between Arbre and whatever other song is going against it. So like it gets more interesting in the later rounds because students go, oh, my songs that I picked for this vote for this day isn't in it anymore. Which one do I want to vote for now? So it does change. It's not going to be exactly the same unless they have a perfect bracket.
So it's best for them to have their own bracket to fill out, and then they go onto the website. So my job is just to play the songs for them.
Correct.
And then I just provide them the link to the website that they.
Yep.
Okay, and I think I copied from the site. I think I copied the link for the website.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Rosa Lopez, and I'm new to Manie Musicale. One of the things that I did do, I joined the Facebook group, the collaborative, and it has really, really, really good teacher resources there. And I checked almost every single one, I have to say. So I came in because I knew people, I had questions, but that all of the resources are really, really, really good. So on there, I found the editable Google slide that you send to the kids, and with the brackets, and they just type in their name. I'm gonna do it as an enrichment activity. I'm not gonna take it for a grade. It's just for me, I always use music, with them. Like I teach, I do, I like to do music. And so this was perfect. I was really excited when I found out about Manie Musicale. So I started I didn't go to school all of this week because of what's going on in Texas, but I had assigned it the week before. We saw the mashup in class. That's all I did as a teacher. We saw the mashup. I explained to them more or less my version of what Manie Musicale was. And I said, it's teachers from all over the world that are participating, and I already signed up my school for it. I just hyped it up, and I send them the bracket with the deadline due on February 26th. And what I'm gonna do, those kids who send it, who want to participate, I'm gonna print out those brackets for my own personal copy. For only, those that took the trouble to fill it in and send it back with it. And I'm going to be watching 2 videos per day. Instead of, I have an activity called the Pour Commencer, my bell ringer. So instead of my bell ringer, I'm just gonna play them either one video at the beginning and then one video at the end of class. From now on, till it ends. I know that, how can I explain? Voting, it's already going to have started, but at least they have an idea of what's up. And so I hyped it up. And I like this. This is my favorite singer. Only 2 of the singers that I know came up on the list. And it's basically what we as teachers want to do with it. We can work with it as much as we want or as little as we want. That's my thing. I didn't know what March Madness was at all. I researched it. And then when I showed I have a copy of the bracket. So when I showed the bracket to the kids, many of them, since I live in South Texas, 95% of the population here speaks Spanish as well. And so they're very familiar with soccer. And so when I explained it to them as when they go to, to the finals, that you have 32 teams, and then you have 16, and then you go to 8, and then you go to 4, 2, and then, the winner, that's when they sort of understood. Some of them that don't follow basketball. So I just wanted to put in my 2 cents there. I don't know if it helped, but that's how I think I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's good. And
am I on the right track?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I typically do on voting day is I will show them just like 30 seconds of the 2 songs that are up that day so that they remember which one it is.
Okay,
and then they
good.
go and vote like that. And it takes less than 5 minutes to have them vote. And, and like last year when I had taught them the chorus to each song, sometimes we'd sing the chorus, on voting day too. And they really enjoyed that. And the great thing is if they say, oh, Madame, can we sing it again? I'm like, yeah, of course we can, because they're They're practicing their pronunciation and their vocabulary. It's great. Stephanie, I noticed you're here. Can you say hi to everybody? And if you want to jump in.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm a little late. The weather here in well, the weather everywhere in the United States right now is horrible, and it took me a little while to get home. Here to answer your questions. I've been typing answers to people's questions in the chat as I'm trying to keep up with that.
Yeah, Natalie is
our community-
helping us to keep track of
Yeah.
questions too. So I gave her an assignment because, you know. Okay, prochaine question.
I will tell really quick what I do for prizes because there's some questions in the chat. So I make like gift baskets, and I make a first place, second place, third place for I used to do that, and then last year I was like, no, just one prize. So I do a prize per class, and I have 3 classes. I'm on a block schedule. So I will go, thankfully now we have a Publix in my community, which I'm in a rural area. So I'm like, woohoo, I have French cookies. Like I like squealed when I went down the cookie aisle when it first opened, and I scared the stalker. He was like, I've never seen anyone be that happy over cookies. But we have Lou French cookies. So I'll make like exactly the same basket for each class. Last year I had I had to wait because we were all shut down, but I gave them their prize packs when it was safe to do so, or safer to do so. But I had a drink in there, those Lorena sparkling drinks. I had a pack of cookies. I got the French Bic pens, you know, the 4 ink cartridge pens. So just whatever I could find that was on sale, and I was only, you know, making 3 gift baskets. So yes, it's out of my own money, and yes, it's, you know, extravagant, but it gives so much hype to this that it's like, oh, if we win here at Pisgah, if we have a perfect bracket, then, you know, like, oh, that's bragging rights and we get free French goodies. I've also done it where I did like a homework pass, where like get out of jail free, and that was a huge pull. So it's, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. It looks like there's some great ideas in the, but that's just what I do.
Yeah, I mean, I also have them put it on the morning announcements. When somebody wins, I say, congratulations, félicitations à Stéphanie Carbono qui a gagné la Manie Musicale, and, you know, the runners up and all of that. And so, you know, just to, you know, and people kind of go, what's that? And, you know, and there is I don't know if there's Spanish teachers on here as well, but there's a Spanish equivalent, which actually inspired us, Locura de Marzo. If you are not aware of that, that exists also.
So, Michelle, I have a question. When you were talking about, for example, your song doesn't win, like kids fill out the brackets for the whole thing, and then let's say, like you had said, Tahiti, and then it doesn't win, so then you're sort of out. But then do the kids, they'll still go ahead and revise?
Well, they don't revise their brackets, but they can keep voting. So like, if I know that Stephanie picked Arbre, but I don't like Stephanie, we really don't get along at all. And so I want to make sure she loses. I might pick the opposite song or whatever. Or maybe like in my original bracket, I picked, so like, for example, in mine, like maybe I picked the one that I thought was going to win, but I really liked another song better. For me personally, as the teacher, I always tend to, you know, vote for the underdog. Like last year, I was like voting against Come See Come Saw all the time because I thought I felt badly for the other songs. So like that, I mean, they are out of it a little bit. Like when their bracket is completely dead, they are out of it a little bit. But, you know, I mean, it's still, you still can kind of hype it and say, you know, root for your friends to win. Like, you know, see, and I also will put announcements like on Google Classroom or put it on my board if I'm in person and say, you know, right now, you know, Natalie is on track to win, but oh no, if, you know, if Ontamen doesn't win today, she's out. But if Ontamen wins, then she has a chance of winning, you know, so I'll keep like a leaderboard going, and you can do that electronically. I did that last year when we were in lockdown, so that, you know, you can say like, oh, so-and-so's the winner for 7th grade right now. And, you know, all, you know, the 8th graders need to catch up or whatever, you know, I mean, you can do all kinds of things with it.
Okay.
Michelle, you can also tell them, I put it in the chat about the merchandise that we're going to have. And we can put that link in the Facebook group and on our website. So if anyone's interested, I wrote a note for us to do that.
Yeah, so we so is Teresa here? Teresa Floke? I don't know, but she made some t-shirts for us. So she does you've probably seen her on some of the Facebook pages if you're on Facebook, but she does amazing French language t-shirts. So she created some for us with Emily's amazing logo and with the bracket on the back if you want it. So that's available on Bonfire, and the link is on, I mean, it's on the in the Facebook group, but we can also send it out. And then we also created a site on Redbubble. So we have, like, with the logo, we have some stickers you can buy and some buttons. Like, this is a button that my student created last year and the art teacher made it. You know, there are stickers, water bottles, magnets, buttons, like things like that. If you want to order merch, this is the first year we've had merch. And so that's kind of fun. And we might, you know, add things to that later on. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so you can do that, or you can just, you know, I mean, we had, you know, we had students, I had students last year, like, make a little, you know, I printed out some, you know, circles on paper and said, who wants to design some Manie Musicale buttons? And we gave them out at our conference last year to people that were participating, because the art teacher has a bubble making machine. So like, you can be super creative with the ideas. You don't have to like use the merch on our site, but it's kind of fun to have an official merch. Natalie, what are some other questions that we haven't answered yet?
There was a question up there. Where is it? If someone has a dead bracket, how do you keep them engaged? I'm paraphrasing because I don't see it anymore, but you might have answered that some ways.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit.
We did.
Yeah.
The merchandise, some people didn't know about the merchandise. Is there, I'm going to ask, could you put the link for the merchandise for the site where we find it?
Yes. Do I have
We'll get it on the site. I'll also send it out in email.
Yeah, we'll send it out on email because I don't have it immediately in front of me.
Yeah.
But
And Michelle, where's the video? Someone's asking about the video for the challenge. Like,
that I can put on here immediately. I have that one right open.
Yeah, I know that's on our website, but I'm trying to remember where it is.
I've got it. I've got some of the links right on our admin page, Stephanie. So somebody also, so the challenge tutorial, yeah, I just put it on there. It's on YouTube. No, thank you. Sorry, my husband's asking me about dinner. The challenge tutorial is so that you can create it yourself. It is a little bit tricky to set up if you haven't done it before, just because you have to like go in the certain order to get it to work right, and it looks a little bit differently than the bracket on challenge, but it's super easy once if you follow the tutorial. And to be honest, I have to go back and listen to myself doing the tutorial every year to make sure I do it right. So, and then somebody created, I forget who, maybe you're on here. If you are, thank you. But somebody created a slideshow teaching students how to use challenge. So like if you're all remote and you can't walk them through it, or even if you are in person, you can use that to show them how to do it. The biggest thing about when students, so challenge, you would create a tournament yourself on challenge if that's how you want to keep track of points. I like it. I think it's super easy. so you would create a tournament and then the students enter their own predictions. Now, like my colleague Amber Burks, who teaches with me, who's amazing, she has them do their brackets and then she fills out the challenge for them because she's like, they're never going to figure it out. So you could do that, but it's way more work. And so they would enter their predictions, and then on March 3rd, you would launch the tournament on challenge for your students. And then you do have to go in after a winner is declared and you have to enter the song that won. So as the administrator of the challenge account for your students, you have to click on the one that you have to put in like points or whatever, and just put in the one that won. And then it'll create a leaderboard for you with all your students' predictions, and it'll tally the points and all of that stuff. So it's very easy to keep track of what your students did that way. Some people have done Google Forms that do that as well. The big thing about challenge, which I can't stress enough, is you have to tell the students to put their name as the prediction title, because otherwise you won't know whose it is, and you can't tell till you launch the tournament. And we have a teacher challenge just for fun, so we can play too, because I like to play. If you, if you want to play, a couple of the teachers didn't put their name as the prediction title. So yeah, it happens. I can put the link to that in the chat too, if you want to do the teacher challenge. I think I have it on there. Yeah, I do. Yeah. D'autres questions?
Well, we're
But we
talking
don't
about
have to do
Flipgrid.
challenge.
Flipgrid and how to use it to have students. There's some collaboration that's already starting here. Some teachers are going to work together.
Do you want to talk about Flipgrid, Stephanie?
Yeah.
So we've got a team of teachers. Thank you guys for volunteering, who are going to monitor it, because with so many people using it, we want it monitored and make sure that there's nothing happening on there. And it's linked on our Facebook page. I just noticed I don't think it's on our 2021 page. So I made a note to make sure we put the link there as well. And we've got a couple of topics set up already, and they're going to be releasing topics as it goes on. So it's not, so the topics will keep changing, and it's, you get on, there's a password. Michelle, the password, did it stay the same from last year? So it's Manie Musicale 2020?
No, it's Bonjour Manie 2020.
Okay, I'll put that.
Thank you. Yeah, the more the merrier. Monsieur Fritz, I responded to your Flipgrid video. Did you see it?
Oh yeah, and I already, when I saw that the links were live, I had my entire French 1 class respond already. So get ready, because I had 30 plus students respond by the end of, by about 12:30 today. I got geeked. I know. So yeah, I had it posted. I found out at 11:15, and by 11:30, I had the links posted and put points on Google Classroom and everything.
Oh
so
my God, that's awesome.
It's on. And I don't know where Madame Smo is, but I have a date for her dog. So she has Augie posted, and I have Georgie Girl. So get ready, because it's on. So prom is set.
That's awesome. And we're hoping to do a contest with Flipgrid this year for the when we get to the danser et chanter part of it, because they can do kind of a TikTok like video, and they could sing and do choreography or do lip sync and choreography or however. And it looks like we might actually get a little bit of funding from Fluent Key to offer some prizes. So stay tuned for more information about that. That's going to be exciting. The other thing about, I obviously there's a pandemic, so we probably will not be able to do it this year, but like in future years, I always, after Manie Musicale, because I don't want to let it go. It's so much fun. But I always have my French club sponsor a lip sync contest with the Manie songs, and students can, work in groups and come up with, I give that, they can do up to 2 minutes of any of the songs, and they lip sync it, and they do dancing and choreography, and the whole school is invited to the contest after school. And we have a panel of judges, and they vote, and there's a rubric and the whole thing. And it's super fun because it's a school-wide event, and we give out prizes and stuff. And, so that's super fun. Okay, so Fluent Key. So Fluent Key is, Stephanie can probably talk more about that, but last year they did a whole contest with us, and they offered some prizes. They're not able to do the contest, but they're in the process of creating video activities with all of the songs for us. So I'm not sure when that's going to be done, but there will be activities for each of the songs on Fluent Key if you want another activity to do with your students. And they have a live, you can play Fluent Key live, which I did a lot last year during lockdown as an optional activity. It was super fun.
So with Fluent Key, they are growing faster than they can. They're growing really fast, and they're struggling to keep up. And the 3 people running it are still teachers working. So they have brought on Lisa Shepherd on board to do a lot of French stuff for them. But they've asked this year they'll create videos and stuff for us, but they can't manage the contest, which, okay, that's fine. And they're looking to grow their team and get some people on there. Somebody wanted to see Flipgrid. Michelle, I have it up. Do you want me to just share my screen?
Yeah, hang on. Let's see.
I think I can share.
I might have to, yeah.
Oh, no.
I have to give you permission. Okay, now you can.
Oh, okay.
Yep, go for it.
Let's see. I'm used to using Google Meet, so this is.
It was super fun last year to see some of the videos. And we have a lot of, I don't know if there are any Canadian teachers on here, but we have a lot of Canadian schools participating. So we've got some, really good French speakers that were posting videos and talking about life in Canada and hockey teams, and it's super fun.
I'm having trouble. Hold on.
You want me to do it? I can probably bring it up, but do you see where to share the screen, Stephanie?
Oh, what are you seeing right now?
You got it.
Okay, because like I said, I'm a Google Meets person. All right,
37 responses. Look at that.
Yeah, so this is the first. You're looking on the teacher side of it. How do I could show it to you from the other way, right?
Yeah, should be able to.
The shared folder is available on the Manie Musicale website under resources.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yep.
Was there caps on?
Oh, those got to be my kids.
Yeah, I don't know if they've been
Approved
yet, but
oh, they shouldn't be.
they shouldn't be. They're trouble.
These are my French ones. Yeah.
Okay.
We just went back to distance.
There's me eating a macaron.
So there's 3 responses now, but there's 37. 37 waiting to be approved.
Ah, I should get my.
So here is like what
let's listen to Monsieur.
Bonjour tout le monde. Je m'appelle Madame Fournier et je suis une des profs qui organise la Manie Musicale. Je suis très heureuse de vous dire bonjour et j'espère que vous aimerez les chansons de cette année. J'habite dans le Maine, au nord-est des États-Unis. Je suis
blah blah blah. They get the idea.
Bonjour les Canadiens. Et
so then you can add a video comment or even type comments to each other. Students can respond to each other. Like I said, we have it managed so that way it's not automatically posted and something inappropriate gets posted. There's a team of teachers that are going to be reviewing the videos and approving them and posting them.
And so they would that's the first topic. And then there will be a topic that's like, which song is going to win the whole thing. And there'll be a song like, which is your favorite video? And there's this chanter and danser part of it. So there will be different topics. So just getting them to, and there are instructions, and some of them that the team did a fabulous job with this and put like some vocabulary resources on there. Like there's a link to one of the chat mats, I think, on one of them if they're talking about which song they like. So, you know, getting the students to do the vocabulary and stuff. And there are, you know, there are already some choice boards and things that have been created in the resource folder. So, you know, before you do an activity with a song, look in the resource folder and see if something's already there, because we are busy and we have a lot to do and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So you can copy something and adapt it to your students if you need a different level or whatever, but there's a lot of stuff in there. And there's a lot of stuff under like the generic resources, like that are not year specific, like, you know, stuff for talking about songs or, you know, things like that. So, so please check that before, or ask in the group if, you know, because, and sometimes in the Facebook group, people have said, has anybody created an X, Y, or Z? You know, like we've got ed puzzles on there already. We've got lyrics training things on there. We've got some amazing like slideshow things. And I mean, there's a lot of really incredible work on there already that people have done.
Whoever created the goose chase, amazing.
I love
If
goose chases.
we're not fully back at school yet. We're still on a hybrid. So I have a total of maybe 7 students coming back to school, and I'm trying to figure out how to adapt that goose chase for them to do at home. But that was genius.
Well,
Thank
I
you,
did,
whoever
I
did
think
that.
in the spring, I did a goose chase remotely with my kids, and it was great. Like that was a really fun activity. It wasn't related to Manie Musicale, but yeah, goose chase is great. Although do you have to, I mean, it's pretty expensive. Are they offering any free ones this year? Do you know? Anybody know if goose chase, because last year it was free for a while, but I don't know if it's still free.
I know there's an education version that
Mhm.
tends to be, I think, cheaper or a little more lenient.
Okay.
I'm jealous listening to some of this because we are 100% remote still. It's so hard to teach, as you know, language without being in person.
Agreed.
But hopefully this will energize them.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, you can, I mean, I think somebody did, I think there's some activity that somebody created with that would be really good for breakout rooms, like talking about the songs in breakout rooms, you know, and so, you know, I've got a mixture too. I've got a couple of all remote classes this term, and I've got hybrid kids and in person. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. So yeah, I mean, you can adapt it to whatever works. Yeah, okay. Any other, what are some other pressing questions? Let's see.
Can I just throw out a comment for anyone who's feeling like super overwhelmed about this? This is because I feel like there is, I just feel it from reading the chat. This is my 3rd year doing it, but the first year that I did it, I didn't do the prediction brackets. All we did was watch 2 songs, 2 videos a day. We talked about the artists. We talked about what the chorus generally sort of means, and they voted. And that was all we did. And they bought into it and they loved it. So like, if you're feeling overwhelmed and like you don't even know where to begin, don't let that be a reason to not jump in. So last year we did the prediction bracket. And if you don't understand the prediction bracket, but if you teach in the United States, at least you have kids who understand the prediction bracket because they know what March Madness is and they follow basketball. So even if you're not a sports person, there will be someone in each class who can explain it, and that they, you know, that they're just trying to make a prediction, and if they're out, they're out. And so they understand the March Madness idea if you explain it that way. So don't feel like you need to understand everything. So last year we jumped in and did the prediction bracket, and then it shut down or whatever. But like, if you're just feeling super overwhelmed, I'm just saying jump in, but you can keep it simple. You don't have to do challenge. You don't have to do the prediction bracket. You don't have to do Flipgrid. Like my kids have never done the Flipgrid, you know, just don't let it, there's like so many options now. And I think this is amazing. And I am super thankful to the organizers and everyone who throws stuff in the collaboration drive. It's amazing, but it can also be a little bit overwhelming for your first time. So just like bite off what you can handle and just keep it simple if that's what you need to do. That's my vote for anyone who's feeling overwhelmed.
Excuse me, can I interject? Martha here. I'm sitting in my car. Thank you for Michelle and Stephanie for all of this. It's my 3rd year. And like the gal who was just speaking, my students, I just play 2 songs and they pick their favorite one. Students over the last couple of years, I'm telling you, they still ask, can we sing this song? Can we sing that song? This is the most fabulous thing we can do for our students, especially at this time of the year. 2nd semester, most of them are not engaged. This is the worst time for us. So it's so fun to have something positive. So Michelle and Stephanie, I thank you. Last question. What's the first day? Is the first day March 3rd? I kind of forgot when to start. And thank you so much.
That's the first day. Yay. Any other veterans want to throw in some advice or what works? I mean, you can do whatever works for you, really, but
I'm popping in the chat right now the bites, the mini bites that we have that we're kind of doing these little videos that give you like a 30-second, okay, here's how to do this thing, here's how to do that thing, kind of leading up, because somebody just had a question about the resource drive and there is a bite on that. So let me put that in the.
This is my 4th year doing it, and I preload the students. I play a couple of songs every day, a couple weeks before, as I pass out the bracket. So I also give them a link to the playlist, and I say, listen to the songs on your own. And I love that you put 2 minutes, a minimum of 2 minutes. Give the song a chance. Don't just listen to the first couple minutes, watch the video, and say, I don't like this. So give them a shot. And then I go over the lyrics with them as often as I can. French ones I spend a little more time with, and the APs, I don't even do it anymore. I just say, here's the bracket, you're on your own, make your own decisions. So they know this. My APs, especially by now, since this is the 4th I've done it, they say, make your own selections. And sometimes I'll take a little class time and we'll listen to them together. So there's some good choices this year. And then I have a follow-up activity that I do with them, and they end up making their own music videos. So I've had this activity for quite a while. If you can tell by some of the singers that are on the list that I shared in the chat. And it's, Music Mercredi has been around for a while, so not as much this year as it's been in the past because I don't get to sit and sing and dance with the kids, but there's always a link to a song. So I'm glad it's gone global. It hasn't been global until the last couple of years. I want to see one up in the Arctic Circle at some point. So
yeah, anybody know anybody in Hawaii? Because we had Hawaii
space station,
but we don't have Hawaii this year. So
I do have a friend in Hawaii. She's not a teacher, but I can ask her. I'll text her and ask her. I was going to say this is maybe the, I don't know, 3rd or 4th year that I've been doing this, and I've added a little bit of participation every year. And actually this year, for the very first year, I'm trying to create a couple of things, resources, and share them just because I've gotten so much the last several years. But I ran into a kid in the grocery store the other day, and I think she did it the first year that I had it, and she's in high school now. And she asked me if we were doing that thing again, and she sang a little bit of one of the songs that we did. So, they remember it, and it's a big deal. And I did almost 0 the first year because I didn't know what I was doing, and I did it like kind of wrong. But I would just say, do something.
Well, and
there is no wrong way. I want to say that there is no wrong way. Whatever works for you and your students is the right way. There's just lots of options, and yes, it's overwhelming. Just exposing them to the music, showing them all these Francophone artists, that's really the goal, right? And for them to see that French is fun and enjoyable. And I hope you've picked up on our theme for this year in our song selection. We're also trying to send a message, and that's really what it's about. So again, there is no right or wrong way. So don't feel like you're doing it wrong. Just do what you can and what's right for your students.
I would also add, that I'm in middle school, and I've got lots and lots of different special ed level kids mixed in with my classes. And I'd say that, I do a lot of music anyway, But I'd say for the special ed kids, this is a really great way to just level that field and let them participate in exactly the same way as everybody else for once. And I introduced something to some of my classes today, and the 3 little special ed girls that I have in my class were singing their lyrics after like 5 minutes. So, you know, it's important to them.
Okay, anybody, I'm just conscious of people's time. Does anybody else have questions? This is being recorded, so we'll put it up somewhere, and people that were not able to attend can attend, but
Michelle, someone suggested too, also saving the chat.
yeah.
Again, I'm a Google Meets person, so I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure I have my settings that it saves automatically. I'm pretty sure it will save automatically for me, but I'll check before I shut it down. But yeah.
Did you tell them we're going to be on TV?
No, I didn't tell. Do tell.
So Michelle and I were interviewed yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, for our news station. So pretty excited. That was scary. Yeah.
It was fun though. It was cool. Yeah. All right. Well, I really want to thank everybody who has contributed resources and helped us out, because this has become really big. So we've needed some help, and people have stepped right up and said, I'll do this, I'll do that. It really, really helps. And I really enjoy interacting with everybody, and it's just so much fun. And once the voting starts, so we don't put the results on the website until the end, but we will put updates in the Facebook group as to who's winning. Okay, so teachers can decide if they want to announce that to their students or not. I love playing with it, especially if it's close, like, oh no, make sure you vote because blah, blah, blah is ahead by, 53% to 47%. And it gets them excited. And I tell them how many votes there are so far. And they're like, oh my God, 5,000 people have voted already. So it gets them really excited, and they'll come into class and say, Madame, who's winning? Qui gagne? Qui est en train de gagner? So check
We
the
do post at the end of the matchup that night. We'll post who wins, but yeah,
yes.
but not during the day. Like we like that allure of them, keep checking.
Yeah, and Stephanie always does a really cool reveal thing at the end, so that you can do a big da 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 announcing the winner when we have a championship song. So that's always fun too.
Michelle, here's the question I've been wondering this whole time is, how you are keeping your kids excited about it by telling them the current standings within their classes. How are you tracking that? Are you going through the papers every day? And
so I'm talking about the voting, which so Stephanie and I can see that on the Google form. You guys can't, but I post it every once in a while, like during my free period at school or when I get home or whatever. I'll post little updates in the Facebook group. So like March 4th or March 3rd, like partway through the day, I'll post on Facebook and say, right now we have 2,204 votes, and Tahiti is winning by 58%, has 50% of the vote.
But I'm asking about in terms of your 4th hour class.
Mm-hmm.
Do you announce right now this person is in the lead?
Oh no, I don't, because I can't see that until I enter who's winning on challenge. Okay, so like
I figure out what this challenge is.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do challenge, but like, yeah, I mean, I would announce who in my class is winning after a vote has been determined, after a winner for each matchup has been determined. So like at the end of the first vote, when voting is closed for Tahiti versus Arbre, then I would be able to say, like, out of this class of 20 students, 15 of you picked the correct song, 15 of you picked the winner. And as you get as you get further along in the voting, fewer people are still in the running because their songs get eliminated. Does that make sense?
Okay, so for each class, you are just literally going through all their brackets at the beginning to say these kids are winning right now.
I make my students do it themselves. I collect their brackets, I photocopy them, then I hand them back and they keep track of their points. And that's part of their discussion every day is.
Right, so then they're just bragging amongst themselves.
Yes, oh, and they will.
Okay, thank you.
And there, you know, like we said, there are vocabulary resources already created. So like, and you know, you teach them how to say, you know, mon braquette est complètement gâché, and you know, things like that, or you know, oh, c'est pas vrai ça, and you know, you teach them the little fun expressions like, oh la la, c'est pas juste, and you know, whatever you want to teach them. But there are things like that already done for you that you can give the students and teach them so that they can talk about it en français.
And that's all on your website.
Or in the resource folder on the website. Yep.
Okay.
And there is a video on the website how to use the website. So we're trying to go from all different angles, you know, like written directions. Like I'm in the process now of, for this, you know, for next year, having a checklist for people to go through and do, okay, check. But, you know, again, this is all coming like as we do it. Like the first time, you know, it was just Michelle and I, our classes against each other. And then we just keep building and getting more suggestions. And I'm like, somebody suggests to us, do you have a checklist? I'm like, oh, that would be a good thing to have.
Well, I mean, there's a timeline on the website that tells you like, do this by this date, do this by this date. So there, I mean, we have a sort of a checklist, not exactly, but yeah. We started in 2017. So like on the amazing logo that Emily made us, it says depuis 2017, because I just think that I get a kick out of that. I'm quite a geek actually, but anyway, it's but it was just our two schools. It was just York Middle School and Falmouth Middle School, and then we presented at our state conference the following year and invited other people to participate, and then it just, you know, especially last year and this year, it's just exploded. So it's super fun. We love it.
Michelle, Stephanie, I have a quick question. I know this year you created the Instagram. Are you doing anything with that?
I will be. I am new to Instagram. Instagram is like not. I'm a Twitter person, so I got to get on there and do some stuff. I'm hoping to try to get some students to help me do it, to put in some of the things that we're doing, to put in some of our votes. But I gotta get it part of my routine. You know, I'm pretty good about posting on Twitter, so I just need to make sure. And someone told me there's some way to post in multiple social media platforms at one time. As soon as I figure out how to do that, then it'll be posting on Twitter, Instagram, and what was the other one we just started? Twitter, Instagram.
Snapchat? You set up a Snapchat?
It wasn't Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. I don't know.
I can't remember. Finsta, no.
I'm asking because I teach high schoolers and I know they use Instagram a lot. And so last year, what I ended up doing is like, thanks to Manie Musicale, I actually created my own teacher Instagram profile, and I would post on there and get them motivated to continue, you know, because we were in confinement. So that was my only way to keep them going. So that's why I'm asking when I saw that you were linking it with Instagram.
So I just wrote down your name and I will be getting in touch with you.
Sure.
To help me
sure.
figure that out. But like I said, once I can figure out how to post one thing on the multiple things, I think it'll be a whole lot easier for me. But someone suggested the Instagram because high schoolers are into Instagram. So I can't use it with middle school. We're not allowed to do anything with any of the social media platforms. But
well, last year I ended up taking screenshots. Every time you posted the results of sorts, I would take a screenshot, post it on Instagram and forward it to my group, and just and trying to hype them up to vote and keep the voting going. So I can help.
Awesome. Thank you. I will be in touch.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Monsieur Fritz. I was just typing them all.
The map will be updated this weekend. That's on my Saturday to-do list.
Yeah, I don't do Twitter or Instagram. I just do Facebook. So most of the posts on Facebook are for me, and everything from Twitter is Stephanie. So we tag team it. It works well. All right. Any other questions, comments?
I was just going to say, if we don't do Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, we can still find everything we need on the website.
On the website, yep.
There just might be a little bit of a delay for results on
Correct.
the website compared to the media, social media.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
Thank you.
Yes. And we do put some updates on the website. There's an update page. So like sometimes we'll put, don't forget to, that the first vote is next week or whatever. So check there as well. Sometimes we'll put announcements and things on there. It's just not as frequent as the other ones. And we do send out occasional emails, as you probably noticed. So we'll send out, right before the voting starts, we'll send out a couple of reminders, like here's how the voting works, here's the link to the website, here's what you need to do, et cetera, et cetera. So, keep an eye on your email as well.
Would it be helpful for us to email out the results with that mass email that we're doing as well? Like, I don't want to overflood people's emails. That's the Heather saying no.
I say no too.
I say you don't need to create more work for yourself. That's one more thing. What was I just going to ask? One more thing. Oh, about the website. Are there parts that are like just for the teachers and then parts that are for the students?
There's a teacher page, but it's not private or anything. The private space is the teacher space is kind of the Facebook group. That's supposed to be just teachers. But yeah, the website, anybody can look at the website.
Okay, thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Okay. Anybody else? Commentaire, question?
Well,
What's
I just
my
was-
favorite song?
I could just share one thing. Our school is doing both the Locura de Marzo, the Spanish teachers, and then the Manie Musicale, which you guys are absolutely awesome. And actually today I had a meeting with all the teachers of French in my district. We're in Iowa. And they all thought, oh, that's a great idea. They haven't done it before. So they're all signing up. You're going to get more people. I hate to tell you.
Yay, that's exciting.
But in our school, one of the Spanish teachers said, why don't we try and play during in a passing time, why don't we try and play one of the songs, one French and one Spanish ones, so that the whole school can enjoy it. Of course, we're partially hybrid, partially in person. This is a huge mess like everybody else. But so it won't be all the kids that can access to that, but at least, it'll be shared with more of the school kids than just the ones who are taking language. And that might be fun, but.
Well, and I put my money display in the hallway so that other people can look at it. And, and I put the basketball players up there. And then Julien Moore created some QR code, like publicité posters that I'm going to put up as well. So kids can, they're not supposed to use phones, but there's they can scan the poster and get more information and so forth. So there, it can get other people into it. And one of the greatest things that happened last year was with one of my students was that he really liked one of the songs from last year's Manie, the Vita and Sliman. And I did another song by them in my Wednesday music thing. And he had listened to it because he liked them from the Manie Musicale. And he's like, oh, thank you so much for teaching us this other song by them, because I loved them so much in the Manie Musicale last year. And this year when I played the mashup, one of my groups of 8th graders that have done it now, this is their 3rd year, they started debating which year's playlist was the best, right? So they were like, oh yeah, what was that song from 2 years ago that we had. And so we kind of looked at a couple of the things from the previous years. And, you know, it's really cool because they get to know a lot of different artists and they get to find things that they like, and they can make their own little Spotify playlist if they want. And, you know, it's really cool how they connect it to other things, or like if, you know, back when we were able to do sports and bring them on buses and things, you know, they'd sing like the songs on the buses. Like I took a group of kids I was part of an exchange to England in the middle of the Manie 2 years ago. And like, I'm in my, room in England, like checking the results. And then when I'm announcing it to my students on the bus who were taking French, and they were like singing the songs. It was fun. All right. Anybody else want to share anything? I think I just want to be aware of people's time. So anybody else want to share pro tips? It's so nice to see you guys in person.
I was thinking the same thing, putting names with the faces that you see posting, and sometimes there's an avatar as opposed to an actual picture. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, super fun. And to hear your voices, like what your voices sound like. It's cool. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, people know each other. Do you ever feel this has gotten away from it? Well, it is bigger than we imagined, but it's exciting. It's fun. I love when we open registration and, I've got my little list of like all the states. Oh, we got Delaware today. We got Georgia. We got whatever, and I check them off, and it's dangerous though, because it's my biggest procrastination measure. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do something for money now. Oh, what am I going to teach tomorrow? Should probably grade those quizzes.
What other countries do we have besides the United States and Canada?
I put it in the chat a little bit ago. It's on the website too. We have
Thank you.
we got Canada, we have Bermuda, United States, Australia, France, one from France, Egypt we got this year. We have somebody from Cairo, New Zealand. We have, I think, 2 from England, Mexico, and Ireland. And I have friends in Poland who teach French, and every year I ask them and I can't get them to join. But if you know people from other countries, invite them, because it's pretty cool. I'm excited that we got a couple from England this year, because I feel like that would should totally take off in England. So we'll see. All right. Stephanie, anything to add? Anything else before we close? All right. Yay. You guys are so funny. Cindy and Cindy. Oh, is Cindy Matthews on here? I don't even know if she's on here. Yeah, so Natalie is our official like proofreader, or like if we don't understand something in the songs, she's like, Natalie, is this really a bad word or not? We ask Natalie.
Oh, you know what? I had a question about one of the lyrics in it's not anything bad, but in the new song, I think. And when I first listened to it, I thought that it was something about tant qu'on est entre nous. But then all the lyrics that I can ever find, tant qu'on est tendre nous. And I guess I get it. I'm I just don't quite get the literary. I mean, I get it sort of, but I've got some kids that are going to ask about that and expect me to be all,
I hear it as tendre, isn't it? Tendre.
It is tendre, but
it is tendre. Yeah.
Tendre.
I think he means like, as long as we are nice, we are good people. As long as we are good people, on s'en fout. We don't care about the mean ones or the whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's what he means.
Yeah, I guess it's just a little more creative licensing in the syntax and all the stuff but I mean, whatever, that's fine. I just wanted to triple check to make sure.
That's the Julien Doré, right?
Yeah.
Is he like stressing the nous at the end of the sentence then?
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
Tant qu'on est tendre,
New.
New.
It really should be a comma there, but.
Ah.
The Oxford comma in French.
Love the Oxford comma.
Moi, j'avais aussi, bonjour, je m'appelle Hélène, je suis de l'Ontario, au Canada. Et moi, j'avais une question aussi. J'ai fait toute la traduction d'ensemble de Scheim parce que je ne pouvais pas trouver ça avant. Je l'ai fait même avant que quelqu'un l'avait déjà fait sur la vidéo YouTube. Et donc, je vois que nos traductions sont presque les mêmes. C'est ça, il y a toujours des différentes tournures, mais j'avais beaucoup de difficultés avec quand elle dit que même l'ennui se lasse, parce que se lasser, c'est ça, ça veut dire aussi un peu l'ennui. Donc, ils sont des verbes et non synonymes. Et la traduction en français, c'est super joli d'entendre ça avec les rimes. Et en anglais, ce que j'ai essayé de faire, c'est...
Non, ça marche pas.
C'est pas bon, c'est pas beau, mais je voulais avoir cette idée si quelqu'un avait peut-être une idée, parce que je sais que mes élèves, j'enseigne la 12e année ici et ils vont poser cette question, ils vont vouloir savoir exactement qu'est-ce que c'est. Est-ce que quelqu'un peut-être a une idée?
Qu'est-ce que vous avez mis comme traduction?
Qu'est-ce que j'ai mis? J'ai oublié. That boredom tires of itself. Something like, I'd have to, let me see if I can find what I did with that. Yeah, I wrote, one moment, what did I write? I did it also on Musique Match. I have an account on Musique Match, so I had posted it there too. So let me see what I wrote.
Yeah, so it's like saying we get bored of boredom.
Yes,
boredom.
exactly.
Even we're weary of boredom.
Yeah.
I had weary for a while, I think. I'm not sure if I used it again. I'm looking up my translation right now.
We're tired of boredom.
It says, on se ressemble, on va traverser le temps, que même l'ennui se lasse. And I wrote, we resemble each other. I liked that better than we look alike. We resemble each other. We will stand the test of time, that even boredom gets bored.
Oh,
and I had the weary as well, but I was having trouble with that one.
We'll get tired of boredom. Or
But
we'll
it's
get tired of being bored.
I think it's okay to tell them what it would mean in English, and then to tell them, but you know, it sounds better in French, and we can never really, when you translate a poem or a song in another language, you cannot, it's a creative, you know, thing, so you cannot really produce the same effect, you know.
Of course, that's right. And I mean, years ago, I worked in Ottawa at the Parliament buildings as a tour guide. And when it got really stressful, our francophones, you know, would say, oh, no, arrête, je suis dans le jus, je suis dans le jus. And it was like, that became the saying, like, don't talk to me. It's too stressful right now. I have to organize this. Je suis dans le jus. And, you know, you can't translate that. I'm in the
that in English, oh my gosh.
On my first trip to France when I was in high school, my host family had a copy of 1984, Orwell's 1984 in French. And I don't know if you remember the actual book, but in English, the first line is the clock struck 13, which to English speakers sounds ominous and like something's wrong and it's scary and it sets the tone for the book. But in French, ils sont à 13 heures. Pas de problème. Ben, il est 13 heures, d'accord, on va déjeuner. You know, I mean, so that was the first time, and I always tell my students that story, that I realized that translation is about so much more than the words. And it just conveys this whole, these layers of meaning that you have to be aware of in terms of cultural context and all of that. So, you know, try to get 7th graders to understand that, but you know, just like planting that little seed in their head that like, it's not exactly the same thing. So, okay, I think we should probably let people go because you might have other things to do. But thank you everybody for coming, and we'll definitely have to do this again next year, Stephanie. I think that was helpful.
Really great.
To Senor Ashby of Locura de Marzo for the idea. I stole the idea from him. So, all right. Merci tout le monde.
Merci beaucoup.
Bye.
My message in the private chat.
Sorry?
I said, did you see my private chat before people go?
I don't
send it just to you, Michelle.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go.
Stand by if you are. You haven't yet.
Yes. Private. Yeah, sure. I have time. I think Stephanie has to go, but
you have time. Okay.
Yeah, so,
if anybody has time, I have a quick question for French teachers.
Yeah.
If anybody has time. It is a Jacques Prévert poem. I just want your interpretation of one line. Anybody up for this challenge?
You said Jacques Prévert, we're good.
J'adore Prévert.
Can I have the right to share my screen?
Sure. I think you should be able to. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me just, it's a very simple poem, except there's one line that I just don't get the best way to translate it. Okay.